the camera. Let's go. 4-pounder. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the KastKing channel. My name is Ethen Preston. I'm a KastKing Pro Team member, and welcome back to Outdoor Living with Ethen. This is a video I've been excited to bring you guys. It's a video that I'm not sure is even talked about enough, in my opinion, and that is talking about one of the KastKing lineups of rods that they have, and that is the Perigee 2 lineup of rods. I'm excited to get into it with you today. When I was first able to partner with KastKing, it was when they just launched the Perigee 2 rod lineup, and they've added more and more elements, rods, lengths, and action stuff like that over the years. I'm going to talk about my 3 favorites. First, I'm going to talk about my first favorite, the one that's overall, and we're going to go down the line. And I've actually added another one to my favorite list from it. Was normally 2 this year, and probably the latter half of last year has really bumped it up to 3 for me. I would be remiss to not talk about this one first. I've said this to people, I've said this to friends, family, whoever, when we get talking about KastKing and their rods. I've even said this on over multiple social media platforms, and that is my favorite rod that KastKing makes. 1, for its versatility and using many different techniques. 2 is the price point, and that is the KastKing Perigee 2. This is the 7.4 heavy action rod. I'm mostly using this rod with techniques where I am moving a bait towards me with the rod itself. So right here I have a little Texas rig paddle tail that we were doing some walleye fishing with. Okay, bass fishing, a jig, regular size jig, football jig, flipping, pitching, anything, or Carolina rigging, top water, anything where I'm using this rod and trusting the action of this rod to bring the bait to me. Okay, the only exception to this rule is like a buzz bait, where I'm actually just reeling, that kind of thing, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But otherwise, anything where I'm bringing the bait to me, like I said, I've even punched with 1-ounce weights with this rod, had a lot of success, and this was dominating the first 4 or 5 years that I had this. This was my top water frog rod as well. Top water, like I said, jigs, Carolina rigs, Texas rigs, flipping, pitching, punching, anything like that. This is kind of the one, if you can only afford to have 1 or 2 rods and want to do multiple different techniques with it, this is the one I'm choosing. This is the reason why I have multiple of these in my boat now. My second favorite rod that they actually make in this lineup is actually the 7.1 medium heavy, and this is a fast action spinning rod. The reason why I'm using this one, I wanted a spinning rod when I was just switching over most of my other setups to the KastKing rods. I wanted to try the spinning rods out. This thing is got you can see it here. It's stiff, all right? It's stiffer for a spinning rod. I don't really use this for like your super finesse techniques, your drop shot, stuff like that. This is kind of a meat and potato spinning rod for me. Specifically, I've had to use it for a little bit heavier shaky heads, even some jigs. And if I have a person that's fishing with me and they're not real comfortable with a bait caster throwing top water like a frog or something like that, or any top water for that matter, I'm going to tie this one up and give this one to them, simply because I have a 3000 size KastKing Kodiak spinning reel on here, and I've actually got 40-pound it's Cast Pro 40-pound braid, Cast Pro braid on this reel. Yes, it's kind of overkill for a spinning rod, but this little dude right here is what I am throwing 90% of the time on this combo, and that is a weightless Senko. Now, I know you can throw a weightless Senko on a lot of smaller setups and stuff. For me, a big heavy braid line, you can go down to 20, 25, 30, something like that. But this right here with a big 5/0 hook and just a weightless stick bait, that is basically the 95 percentile that I'm using for the setup. What I love doing with this is skipping this around docks. With a spinning rod, I can do it with a bait caster, and I forgot to mention that with the 7.4 heavy, you can fish a weightless bait very, very well with that rod. But for me, if the fish high sunny conditions, which we don't have right here, where fish are back in shade, or if I'm in a tournament and I want to fish areas where I think guys maybe have not got way back in there, I can get that bait in there cleaner and obviously not have backlashes and stuff. A lot easier with this combo right here. So number 2 on my list is the 7-1 medium heavy, obviously Perigee 2 spinning rod. And last and certainly not least, came into my possession and started playing around with different techniques that I like for this rod the end of last year, and then this year is actually a player for me in a cold front in Minnesota opening bass weekend, where the water temperatures have dropped 10 to 15 degrees. Water on the main lake was actually cooler than the back shallow areas. And that is the KastKing Perigee 2. This is the 7-1 medium heavy, and this has a fast action tip as well. Now, this one, like the 7.4, obviously is 3 inches smaller, but you're gonna have more parabolic bend with this one. So for me, what I ended up doing is I throw this a lot. This is kind of what it's just a drop shot, but it's beefed up. It's got a beefier hook, half-ounce weight, bigger presentation. This is the Speed Demon Elite as well here, but I have 30-pound braid to a 15 or 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. This is what they affectionately call power shotting or Bubba shotting, where I'm using a bigger setup and a bigger rod for this. Also, finesse cut round ball jig heads or smaller jigs. Again, with the skipping, it gives me a little bit more parabolic bend than the 7.4 heavy. I can put things in a little bit tighter areas with this rod, but it's not so stiff, okay? I'd also use this for a chatterbait or spinnerbait. You can use the other one as well, but this one's gonna give you more parabolic bend, I think, if you're looking for your moving baits. But where this one shined for me was obviously the Bubba shot, but also the jerk bait. We'll show some fish catch clips here. What I was doing is keeping it's a deeper diving jerk bait, but again, with the bigger braid and bigger fluorocarbon, I was actually keeping this jerk bait up above the weeds when we had that big cold front. It allowed me to use a bigger jerk bait with a bigger lip, which gave it a more darting, aggressive action. But with the bigger line, it kept it up and out of the weeds. For me, if you're looking for a smaller Texas rig, smaller jigs, and you don't need that extra oomph per se, that extra power that is comes with the 7.4 heavy. The 7.1 medium heavy is a great showing for you. So I touched on it earlier, but all these rods will not break the pocketbook. If you're looking for higher quality rods, a lot of times, you know, you're retailing around 100, 150, all the way up to super expensive rods in the $400 range. All 3 of these rods, the 7.4 heavy, 7.1 medium heavy spinning, and the 7.1 medium heavy bait casting rod, all these retail on Amazon for around $72, okay? If you guys are interested, just getting into bass fishing, just want to check out some of the KastKing products, make sure you go ahead and check out the Perigee 2 lineup.